The way we got Annabelle's distance and height is because we know that she is standing 12 yards away from the goal, and her maximum height is 17 yards, so that's already a given. How we got the distance was the ball lands 48 yards from the goal, and we just subtracted 48 from 12, which gave us 36. For Jackson, we are given an equation that is y equals negative x squared plus 14x minus 24, where y is the height of the ball in yards and x is the horizontal distance of the ball. And basically what you have to do is, using this equation, you plug in or get to the vertex form, and this is the vertex form. Y equals a parentheses x minus h parentheses squared plus k. We plugged in the numbers from the formula into the vertex form, and we got half of 14, which is 7. And when you square that, you get 49. So we added the 49 into the parentheses and also on the outside of the equation, but we subtracted it. After that, you subtract 24 and 49, which is negative 25. And from there, you would factor what's inside of the parentheses. After you factor, you factor it, you find out what h and k is, and h would be 7, k would be negative 25, and we use those two numbers to graph it on to a graph. The 2 points that we graphed was 7 and 25, because 7 would be x and 25 would be y. And that is how we found the highest height for this equation, because it would be 25. On this side, we basically use the same formula, which is the vertex form, and we changed y into 0. After that, you would get this, and you would square 25 because x minus 7 is already squared. You would get 5 equals x minus 7, and you would have to get x alone, therefore add 7 to both sides, which would be 7 plus or minus 5, and that's what x would be. Since x would be 5 plus or minus 7, we would end up with two answers, which would be 12 or 2, and we put those two numbers on the x-axis, and the distance between it is 10, which is how we got the final answer for that.
In order to find Chris's farthest kick distance and the height, we have to look at this chart, because this is what we were given in order to find the answer. Right here, if you look at it, it's kind of in the middle between the 10 and the 15. So I would say it's about 13. So for that would be the height, 13 yards. And since it was from the goalpost all the way to the 30-yard line, the distance was 30 yards. And that's how we found for Chris's stats. For Emikio, in order to find the stats for him, we were given this table right here. And then for each pair of numbers, we saw it as points to put on a line graph. Line paper. So since right here it's at 0 for y, it was just on the bottom. And since x is 10, we started at 10 yards away from the imaginary goalpost over here. So then for each point, we pointed them right here, as you can see. Same for all of them. And then once we got to the highest point, which was actually 20, as it is right here in the y, we see that is the highest point, so that would make its highest kick. And then in order to find out the farthest distance, we used basically the parabola, and we folded the parabola in half, and then we saw that it started going downwards just the same as this side. So what we decided to do was, if we did each point exactly the same on opposite sides, it would equal what the farthest distance was, which was 26. So since he started it at the kick he shot the kick at the 10-yard line, and it went into 26. If you subtract the 2, it would equal 16. So that became the farthest distance for his kick. And the highest, again, was 20. And that's how we found out his stat. Back to the original question. Who got the highest stats and who got the furthest stats? If we look at Annabelle's, she got the farthest, at least by 26, and then Emikio running in second. And then for the highest, we got Chris and Jackson running in second. So for the answer is the highest is Chris, and for the longest, it's Annabelle.